Hello, this is Gianna and Patty from Money Monday. Patty, don't you like those silver bars that are in the opening?
Oh, I loved it.
They're so
Yes.
pretty. They're so
Yes.
pretty. Right. And they're just so shiny. I don't know, I'm a girl. I like shiny stuff, shiny,
Mm.
sparkly stuff. So this is the second week of our Money Monday with our Trump baby accounts versus the Gianna Freedom Fund. Here's what we have going on. Got some silver to show the world, Patty?
I do. Yeah.
If you don't know what the experiment is, I started a hypothetical Freedom Fund account to compete against the Trump baby accounts. It started 2 weeks ago. And every week on Monday, we're going to show where the Silver Freedom Fund is versus the Trump Index Fund. Now, keep in mind that our position with the Trump Baby Fund, the Freedom Baby Fund, I keep saying it's so hard. Here's $6,000 worth of starter silver because here was my $1,000 donation equivalent to the Treasury's $1,000 of money invented out of thin air, whereas this is real money. And then this was $5,000 because that's the max that you can contribute to the Trump account. I could contribute anything I wanted to my Freedom Fund, and I own and control it, and it's tax-free. It was purchased with tax-free money. It will remain without capital gains because I've exited the IRS. The index fund is not. But let's look at the numbers. Patty, how do you think the silver did? What's your guess?
I think we're probably up maybe $100, maybe.
Okay, well, we started with $6,000 a piece.
Okay.
Each in the Freedom Fund, the hypothetical Freedom Fund, and the hypothetical Trump baby account, and the Silver Freedom Fund. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm stuttering today. I'm not smooth. I don't know. I feel fabulous today. So right now, they dipped both under the 6,000 last week, but as of right now, today, just an hour ago, the silver fund stands at 5,971 cents, and the index fund stands at 58.71 and 53 cents. So they're both down a little bit, but remember, tax-free, you own and control. Patty, do you have a $100 bill handy?
I do. Yeah.
Hold it up, please. I want to ask the audience, who owns that? Patty, who owns that $100 bill?
The Federal Reserve owns the $100 bill.
The note and the full faith and credit of the people of the United States and your taxes that stand behind it. I heard Steve Bannon say that for so long, the full faith and credit. I'm like, what does that even mean? So I looked it up. It means they expect and hope that you will get up in the morning and go to your jobs that you hate and pay the IRS from January to April for all the fraud, all the Somali fraud, all the Medicaid fraud, all the fraud. Patty, hold up your silver, please.
Oof.
You love it. That's your big one, right?
Yeah.
Who 10 ounces. Owns our silver?
We own the
We
silver.
do.
Yes.
We do. So,
little simple analogy there. Yeah.
Very exciting. Please stay tuned every week for the Trump baby account versus where's my notes here, versus the Gianna and Patty Freedom Fund. So on Money Monday, our intention of this weekly show is to show you Americans how to keep all your hard-earned money and turn it into wealth. You do that by audaciously exercising your rights. There's no one else saying this on the entire planet but me and Patty, So most people think there isn't extra money to be found. You can always find some money. But when you start exercising your rights, like exiting the IRS, there's going to be lots of money. Patty, you have been out of the IRS 4 years, I think?
Yes.
What are you doing with that extra money?
I'll give you one big guess.
Patty is called the Silver Stacker.
Yeah.
And tell the people, in just a couple of minutes, how you have been able to grow wealth by moving your extra disposable income into metals.
Instead of putting that money in a savings account in the bank, I purchased silver. I've been doing it for probably 10 or 15 years. Every week or every month, I make a purchase It could be a little purchase, it could be a large purchase. It all depends on what kind of disposable income I have. So that's how I save. I save buying silver.
Right.
I don't save this.
Right. Because
I
that's
put
losing
it
its
in this.
value. That's
Yes,
losing
yes.
its value. Everyone knows this. Everyone's been to the
Yep.
grocery store. And so, we think that silver is going to skyrocket for many, many reasons. So we can't talk
Mhm.
about that every single show, but we do talk about it. Today, I want to talk about on Money Monday how American business owners can keep all your hard-earned money. What is our story? My story is that I skipped college and was never indoctrinated into the belief that, well, let me see, I want to open a business. Let me go ask the city of New York for a license and then the state of New York for a license. And I'm going to do this. So I have to go to school for $20,000 for 9 months so I can pass the licensing test for the state of New York. And then I'm going to have to get an EIN and an S corp at an LLC. No, you don't need any of that stuff. And when people, I'm in conversations with people right now, I'm massaging them into this situation because people are so averse. There's this guy I talked to who lives near me. Jana, are you sure I can do this? And I'm like, why do you think you can't? I
Mhm.
don't know. Okay. They don't
It's conditioning. They're just conditioned.
right? And he's
Mhm.
so sweet. He's opening up a similar business to what his regular job is, where he is on a W-4 and he's used to that tax money coming out. And I'm like, he's going to be a consultant. Now, Patty, you're a consultant. You
I am.
consult on the metals.
I do.
And this was just something you ended up falling into with,
Mhm.
a little push from me. Well, you're already
Yeah.
doing it for your friends and family. And then
Yeah.
Patty doesn't even charge for her consultations at this
Mm-mm.
point. But I told her someday you might, because they just get more and more each week. And you might have to just establish your time that way. And so, do you keep your consultant money in an LLC?
No, I don't.
Did it
I do
even
not.
cross your mind? So
No, it did not. It would
you,
never cross my mind. I mean, now it wouldn't, but there was a time, that I would think about getting licensed. Well, I'll give you a prime example about getting a license. So when you own rentals here in the state of Maryland, you have to get a rentals license.
it's so crazy.
You
It's
have to pay
insane.
the state. You have to pay the state to get a license so they can keep track of how many rentals that you own. So I've been kind of fighting that. Remember that issue? I've been kind of fighting
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So it's at a standstill right now because I'm refusing to renew. So
That's been a while. And so have they pushed back? Because we wrote letters to them, kind of demanding their standing, which they have none.
no, they have
Because,
not. I haven't heard anything. It's been a while.
and they haven't said any reason why she does or agreed with her statement that she does not, because
Hmm.
I have encouraged Patty and I encourage all of you to start saying the sentence, who are you to
Hmm.
rule over me? Who is anyone to make these arbitrary rules and licenses? You've got
Hmm.
to start asking the question and just stop it. So we've sent 2 letters pushing back on that. And guess what? They've shut up, right? It's been
They have shut up. I
at
haven't heard
least 3
anything.
months.
Yes, it's definitely been a while. I basically wanted to pick a fight with him. Remember, I said to you, I'm like, I'm not paying this shit no more. So I didn't,
And
but
that's what it means by audaciously exercising your rights. So many people will just bend over and roll over because they got some form letter from some
mhm.
lady who doesn't even sign her name. Who are you? Okay.
Mm.
So, when I speak about this, people are just astounded. So today I want to tell you about, having your own business. And so when I did this, I started a hair salon that specialized in hair extensions. I took a class and got certified, which is a 2-day class. Okay. Did I get official information? Yes. Does that mean I know how to do anything? No. But then I apprenticed with a lady for 6 months, watching her 5, 6 days a week. Then I felt ready to try somebody out. I was very open. You're my first client.
Mhm.
And she came to my house in Brooklyn and sat in my dining room. We conducted private economic activity. Then I put up a website and a Google ad it was all cash at the time because they didn't have credit card machines for small businesses back then in 2002. And so ladies came to my house, and because of my fabulous Google Ads skills, the phone rang so much from Long Island that I just thought, if I don't get a location out there, because those rich ladies were too afraid to come to Brooklyn, I understand that. I am so smart that the phone was ringing so much that I just thought, and I remember I didn't finish high school. I have to get a location. I'm missing out on so much money. So I went to like the first suburb past Queens. Like, I'm just getting into Long Island. And I didn't know at the time, it was a very fancy suburb. It was one suburb away from where J-Lo lived. And it turned out there were lots of rich ladies there. And there was a for rent sign, and this man owned a commercial space. And there were 2 rooms upstairs. And I'm already paying $1,600 rent, which was scary because I had just restarted my life at that time from my dead boyfriend, leaving me with no money. I know, right? Patty's got dead parents. I got dead boyfriends, right?
Right.
Patty will say a sentence sometimes. Well, before my parents were murdered, that's a whole other show.
Yeah,
you know,
that
Patty's
is,
had
yeah.
some trauma in her life. And I this one room, logically, your brain, take the $900 room because, oh, it was still like a mental struggle. And much of your lack of success and success is your own brain. And I really wanted the $1,200 room because it had better windows and I needed the light. And it was much cuter. And I visualized how I was going to paint it and decorate it. And this girl, Gina, who's so wonderful, and we're still friends to this day, didn't even know her. She was the receptionist, and I was just feeling the room. Go with your gut, everybody. Go with your gut. I was feeling the room and visualizing. I probably stood in there for an hour. And she came up, and here's the difference between her and the owner, Ken. Gina came up. She's so sweet. She's like, I told her, I want the higher price one. I'm nervous. She goes, you can do it. You can do it. I don't even know this girl, and she doesn't know me, but she's cheering me on. And just because she said it, I felt I could do it. It's just a couple $100, but it was new, and new stuff is scary. And then Ken, the owner, comes in. You better not even think of signing that lease and not paying the rent. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So I had to sign the lease. I signed the lease. I decorated it. I put 2 chairs in it within 4 months of the Brooklyn location. I needed a second location. That location banged out like this. You couldn't even get an appointment with me for 4 months. And the money train was on. And I've kept all my money. All of it. It was cash then. And then 2005, we got credit card machines available to small businesses. I started taking credit cards. And ever since I've been online, which was 2014, all my money comes from credit cards. So I'm not under the table. I'm not hiding anything. I'm audaciously exercising my rights. Now, I don't need any licenses. Working from home and having internet, I sell books and I sell the membership for the university. And then sometimes people pay me for consultations. So that's just not anything that really needs to be regulated. And people think this is not really our IRS tax-free Tuesday, but we could talk about that tomorrow. They just don't understand. Well, what if, and what it will explain your what ifs. Cause I'm harsh and oh, she's such a bitch. But I ask questions and push back to get you to think. You're thinking something for a reason you can't explain. Like someone just messaged me on TikTok. What about my Social Security and something else? What about it?
You can still collect it.
Articulate an actual sentence with a verb and a noun and a thought to me. That's how my brain works. So how can you be free? I'm going to tell you, that you just do it. Just like the Nike phrase, you just do it. Now, people say, well, how can you do it, Gianna? Gianna's going to bring the receipts. Hale versus Henkel. Supreme Court ruling from 1906, page 74, the Supreme Court stated, I'm going to pick this up here. The individual may stand upon his constitutional rights as a citizen. He is entitled to carry on his private business in his own way. This is my way. His power to contract is unlimited. He owes no duty to the state or to his neighbors to divulge his business or to open his doors to an investigation so far as it may tend to incriminate him. He owes no such duty to the state since he receives nothing therefrom beyond the protection of his life and property. That's what they owe me. They owe me this. His rights are such as existed by the law of the land, long antecedent to the organization of the state. The state is a corporation that sits in a file box in Washington, D.C., and can only, I added that part, okay, that's not the constitutional ruling, and can only be taken from him by due process of law and in accordance with the Constitution. Among his rights are a refusal to incriminate himself and the immunity of himself and his property from arrest. Your work and your labor is your property, or seizure except under a warrant of the law. He owes nothing to the public so long as he does not trespass upon their rights. If ladies say, I want you to do my hair and I agree to do it for this amount of money, we have conducted private economic activity. Same as the Legal Fockery University. You agree to a monthly fee. I say yes. I don't take everybody. There's a couple of questions you answer, and some guy I rejected last week, and he emailed me, I don't understand. You rejected me. Your answers to the questions were stupid. I don't need it. If you think you're going to come into university and you doubt everything, I don't need it. I'm not here to convince you. We have a show. We both have books. Books are available on GiannaMaselli.com. They're a package deal now. They're called the Freedom Library. You get all 4 of my books and Patty's book for $99. It's a great deal. And so the court was describing the relationship between the individual and the government authority. You have a right to conduct private affairs, freedom of contract, against self-incrimination, due process protections. If nobody has complained about me doing their hair, where's the state going to bring a cause of action against me? It requires a complaint signed under penalty of perjury that Gianna harmed me. Never happened. Protection from unreasonable government intrusion. The government does not have to come into my business and check to see that I have licenses. Now, if I got licensed and I let it lapse, then they can come check. Because I signed.
Oh, they will
license.
check. Yes, you'll get a notice.
Yeah, I operate using a PMA, a private members association. Sometimes people call these private ministerial. There's a segment of so-called freedom groups that think and promote. Oh, you've got to be a religious organization. No, you don't. Those are the state rules and the statutes. You're not free. Private members association. Now, I don't need one because it's only me. I have one because it establishes the relationship I have with my members. Once they come in and they get to freshman 4, they sign a common law contract, which lays out there are no refunds, but also establishes a relationship that is far more than a contract. It's a covenant. We both agree to be an honor. I'll give a refund if it's honorable and should be given. Maybe somebody bought a class they misunderstood or something happened, I didn't deliver. It depends on the situation. But in general, you have no standing in the law to get a refund from me because you didn't like it. We have class descriptions for a reason. Plus, you can just ask me if this is a class for you. And so I don't need the PMA. If you have a partner, if you need if the state ever did bother me, I don't have to show it to them, but I would show it to them to establish that there is clear common law intent in my business. I would just get it. I would show it to shove it down their throat. Who are you to rule over me? So if you Google this, ChatGPT, all of those things, they don't agree with this. They're still going to talk, oh, you need to do what the IRS says and no, you don't. No, you don't. I mean, AI has its place, but it is not for the freedom at all. And so having a properly structured PMA ensures clarity, protection, and lawful operation within the private domain. I'm going to talk about what is private. So it operates outside of the jurisdiction of the state, local, and federal laws and regulations, except when activities present clear and present danger to public safety or welfare. I sit in my apartment. Okay. There's no danger to anybody. Everyone makes their own educational decisions, and things like that. And the Supreme Court has recognized the right to freely associate as equal in importance to the right of free speech. why we can sit here on this show tonight and tell you that. And so the right to have a PMA flows through audaciously exercising your rights, the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. Form private contracts, engage in private commerce. Legislators can only regulate commerce, not private commerce. Commerce is, oh, I'd like to open up a store, give me an LLC and a corporation. You don't have to, but most people do. You don't have to.
It's because they're in the tax structures.
That enters you into the tax structures. You volunteered for it. So don't be on social media. Oh, they're violating our right. No, you signed up for it. Patty, you can jump in anytime if you want to.
Yeah, and I'm listening.
Yeah, PMAs are used to shield organizations and practitioners, like a lot of chiropractors get PMAs. Doctors are looking into this, doctors who are leaving the standard pharmaceutical cartel. You can't do that if you're going to prescribe drugs, though, but you can take your education and your experience and help people be more healthy. So, professional consultants, realtors, trainers, authors. There's many people who could do this. And I'm screaming to you right now, I want to talk to you. If you want to talk about this, let me put my phone number up there. I have a community number. There we go. Text me. Let's have a conversation about putting your business in the private. So you need to come in we'll have a conversation, then you can come in the university. Even regulated goods with alcohol sales can be under private contract. I personally have dined in 2 restaurants in Canadian Texas. That is a dry county, which means they can't sell any booze. So what does the man do? The owner of 2 restaurants it's a PMA. And so he puts $1 on your check. That's your membership charge for the night. Full bar. If you didn't hear about it, you'd never know it. If you didn't ask what the dollar was for, you'd never know you were in a different restaurant. And so with proper documentation, like the restaurant, PMA can transact in goods and services with constitutional protection. So that Hale versus Hinkle protects your due process, freedom of association, freedom of contract, protection from public regulation. So a lot of people don't really understand what is public versus private. Private simply means not operating in the public system. Government authority primarily regulates the person. The person is a legal entity. They don't use the Webster's Dictionary explanation of a person. We are men and women. A person in the legal definition is a legal artificial entity. That's why I call it legal fuckery, because nobody knows this. Created or recognized by the state, used to apply statutes, licenses, and regulatory codes. So when you come in my freshman foundation, that entire curriculum in the beginning is to get you to understand what is public versus private, why you are not a person in the eyes of the law and the statutes. And people say, oh, that's that sovereign citizen stuff. It's right there in Hale versus Hinkle. A man or woman, you have rights from God, the creator. A person has statutory privileges and obligations via the state. And so how do you become public in your business? LLCs, corporations, partnerships. Like if I become Patty and I became partners and we registered it with the state, we're no longer private. We're spiritual partners.
That will never happen.
Right?
It's not
We're
getting
spiritual
registered.
partners.
Yeah, that's right.
This also goes to nonprofits. Some guy with a homeschooling. I love homeschooling and I follow several homeschoolers I like. I think everyone should be homeschooling is really doing well.
My granddaughter is.
Right. And she's a smarty. But
she's very smart.
I had asked this person a question about why do you think you need, because they're asking for donations. They're a 501c3 nonprofit. You don't need that. You can ask for donations. People can't deduct them. But you know, how important is that? I don't give a shit about where I donate money to if I can deduct it.
What about the GoFundMe pages? Do they have a 503c? Do they have one of those?
They do. I'm sure that they
Do you think
are.
so? You know, I'm going to have to look into that.
If you want to look while I'm talking, look at that, because they do take percentages and commissions. Although I hate to give to GoFundMe, but GoSendMe. So I think maybe GoFundMe forces their commission, whereas Give, Send, Go is more Christian and probably private. They ask at the time of the donation if you want to cover their costs. I'm not sure, but I think it is. And so that includes so this homeschool entity on X. It was like very nasty to me. And they said something that was so stupid because I told them I would be happy to explain to them, oh, you're trying to sell us? No, I didn't say sell you anything. I'm giving all this away for free. You want the dirty details on how you do it, because people could, oh yeah, I want to be free. I want to do what Gianna said. But then they sit down with their CPA and all their documents and they don't know what to do. And for that, I'm going to charge you to tell you how to do it. Sorry,
Okay.
not sorry. Okay.
Right.
I have a class and it comes with a consultation.
So GoFundMe, it's not an IRS structure. It is, you're going to receive a 1099. So if you set it up and you get all that money donated to you, the GoFundMe may issue a 1099 in some situations based on payment processing rules. But receiving a tax form does not automatically mean that your funds are taxable.
No, but what are they? Are
Yeah.
they a corporation?
The question asked that protects it's not giving me.
You
Let
asked
me
it?
ask
If
that.
it was
Yeah.
a abusive corporation.
Let me
Yeah, let me keep going while you talk.
go ahead.
So when you create these entities, as you know, if you are a business person or consultant listening, documents are filed with the state. That's public then, it's not private. As soon as you do that, which you ask for it, you give them money, you sign the documents, you register them, you volunteered for all of that. You are unknowingly consenting to be governed. You're officially registered. You become subject to state law and oversight. Otherwise, they don't know about you. They never knew Kill for This Hair existed in Great Neck, New York. I don't need to tell them. I'm not doing anything wrong. They don't come after me because they don't know about me. You could call them right now. They're not going to know anything. And so once these are formed, you're obligated to obey the privilege, audits, licensing, taxation, compliance, regulation. Now, some things need that, but not everything. Not everything. And so the underlying principle is that a legally created entity exists within the framework of the law that created it. You're asking for it. So there's a trade-off. People think they get liability protection with an LLC. Not really. It can be pierced. Ask Alex Jones. It can be pierced. They think recognition, like there's a lawyer, remember I just asked this, I don't want to say it. Remember, Patty, I said to you, we were both talking about some guy on X. I like the guy. He's an attorney. He talks about constitutional things, but he has his name and in his profile, LLC. And I did ask him, but he hasn't answered. Why? Why do you have that? Like, why does the world need to know that you're Joe Blow, LLC? And I'd love to know his thought process because it's just not necessary. So you think you're getting benefits, but you're also getting obligations, And then there's you got an answer yet, Patty?
I do.
What are they?
So GoFundMe is operated by a corporation. It is a for-profit corporation that operates GoFundMe crowdfunding platform. It is a private company headquarters in California. The company earns revenue primarily through optional donor tips and fees for certain fundraising services, rather than being a charity itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is okay. That's fine if that's what people want to do. But if they assist in funding something that turns out to be a fraud, they have to refund the money, which they should, that's moral too. Now, I want to just give you a couple more Supreme Court rulings to back up everything that I say. Gianna brings the receipts. Roberts versus United States JCs, much more modern, 1984. The Supreme Court held that private organizations have the First Amendment right to associate freely, and the government cannot interfere with that right. I own a community university that people pay monthly to belong to. You can quit anytime. I can also throw you out anytime. I have that right. You have that right. Number 2, Hurley versus the Irish American Gay, Lesbian, and Bisexual Group of Boston. The court, 1995, the court affirmed that private associations have the right to exclude individuals who do not align with their mission or beliefs.
Remember the cake decorating fiasco?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And then the last one is the Boy Scouts of America v. Dale 2000. The court upheld the Boy Scouts' right to set their own membership standards, reaffirming that private organizations control their own message and identity. What else you got? Anything else, Patty, on that thing?
Nope, that's it. That's all that
Okay.
came up. Yep.
So,
It's pretty straightforward. I mean,
it
I
is,
didn't know
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, and they're allowed to be a business, you know,
Yeah.
but you can just donate to somebody if you want to. So, and then I wanted to talk about, I'm in our class, how to put your business in the private. We've got some testimonials there. So yeah, here's a one from our gal. I don't want to say anybody's names. She said, I started my small business in my kitchen during the summer of 2021. At that time, it was simply an idea that I implemented in 10 days. That was the easy part. The complications began as I informed my CPA of my newest endeavor. She quickly steered me down the path of payroll, LLC S corp, taxes, deductions, withholdings, and insurance. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. I don't need any of that. Even when I've had an assistant, this is what I pay you. I send them a Venmo, a Cash App. I used to give them cash or a check back in the day. All I wanted to do was manufacture my products and get them to my customers so they could live a healthy life. I trusted the people that my CPA sent my way to walk me through all the agency requirements. Oh my God. So much I did not understand. Sign this, set up this, fill out this form, have your employees complete the necessary tax forms. All of a sudden, my simple idea turned into a bookkeeping fiasco, but I knew I had to comply or else. As I dug deeper, I found others with the same hunch, and this led me to Gianna. The university not only verified my hunches, but provided a step-by-step way to move my business into the private. They also gave me the confidence I needed to implement this plan. After joining the university, my first step was to dissolve my LLC, which put a halt to the staring eyes and outreached hands. The tax man. The best day was when I fired my CPA and no longer had to answer the endless questions of where I spent my own funds. None of your beeswax. Next, I inform my employees that I will be issuing them a check for the full amount of the work performed. There will be no deductions taken and no W-2s provided at year's end. Listen to this, listen to this. The unknown did not sit well with them, and one gal claimed that I was breaking the law. Can you imagine?
So she's claiming you're breaking the when she's getting
Don't give me all my money. You're breaking the law.
Right.
Now, 6 months later, I hear nothing from anyone.
What a foolish.
It's not your problem. The IRS is a genius scheme in that it makes everybody believe, oh, for the privilege of commerce, you have to be a collection agent for us. And what do we give you for that? Squat. Nothing. The collecting and submitting sales tax to over 9 states was ridiculously tedious, but I smiled as I contacted each to close my accounts and cease collecting for those agencies. This is over a year old. Joni's doing just great. I am now able to spend my time educating my customer. Oh, I said her name. My customers and future customers on how to live long and healthy. My employees have noticed my stress levels drop and they love their fat paychecks. By removing the IRS from my life, I literally gave myself a 40 to 50% raise. There's your silver money. And guess
Isn't that
what?
crazy? 40 to 50%.
I just talked with her about a week ago. She's got plenty of silver. Running my business now is no more complicated than running my household. I now have time and energy to pick up and continue an earlier hobby turned business. Now she's having a good time in her life. Dissolving the second LLC was simple, and the hobby has the chance to be lucrative since it is free from endless bookkeeping and taxes. That's what the Legal Fuckery University can do for you. It will unwind the conditioning of legal fuckery. I mean, I'm sure it's insane when people hear me say this. So let me tell you, so I was last week at the Patrick Bet-David. We had an event at the Yankee Stadium, and in that event, we had like a 4-hour mastermind with PBD and Tom, and everybody had to stand up. It was like 25 people there. Everybody had to stand up and say what their business is, and they say how much they make. And let me tell you, I was the poorest person in the room, but people make some serious money. And I know they know what I do. I don't only talk about the IRS, but it is the biggest draw and component because there's people that just don't even know about their rights yet. I could do things that get more engagement that other so-called freedom people do, but also those people have no processes, no success. I want to give you testimonials and success stories and direction every day. Because the number one thing when people come in from other places is that I have structure and a step-by-step guidance. Patty could attest to that. Patty's in the
Yes.
Serious Operators group.
Yes.
It is
Mhm.
unless you're an idiot, you're going to have
Mhm.
success. Okay. Sorry, not sorry. But so I know that they're a wee bit afraid of me speaking of being tax free. And so at the time when everyone was supposed to stand up, there was Sean and Julia and Gianna and Eric and then other people, 2 rows of people. He started with Eric, and I was like, I wonder why he didn't start with Sean. Love to write, but okay, maybe he's only going to talk to people with big money because those people are they make. There's people in that room that make over $100 million, $350 million, 50 big monies in that room, and they're just all regular people. And then they finished up, and somebody said, "Oh, we miss these people here, but I don't know how they could miss us because we're right there in the front row." So Sean did what he did, and Julia said her business, and I'm the last person in the whole room to stand up and talk. And I don't talk about the IRS, but I am looking towards Tom. Tom is the older guy on the PBD podcast, and I feel like, oh my God, Tom is paranoid about what I'm going to say.
Like, don't say it, Gianna, don't say
Don't
it.
talk about the IRS because all
Um,
people hear is Irwin Schiff and Wesley Snipes, and they don't look at the details. They did wrong things. They committed fraud with their filings, and
Mhm.
that's why they went to jail. So, Patty, anything to add to today's discussion?
You pretty well covered everything.
You're smooth on the silver stacking. We'll talk about who you are for a couple more minutes. So Patty
Yeah.
is in the Serious Operators group, and she came on my radar because she has been stacking silver for a very long time. You want to tell the story, even though people have heard it before. We have new viewers all the time. It's the funniest story about when you decided to take your money out of Morgan Stanley.
Well, just watching the stock market and realizing that, if we didn't do something soon, we weren't going to have any left. I think we had lost maybe $200,000, about a 7-month period.
That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot, and it really took me a while to really kind of push my husband, to get him to see the bigger picture. And, but that whole time I kept buying silver. It's being shipped to the house and I'm stacking and putting it away and stacking and putting it away. And finally he decides, okay, let's make the move. So we rolled his IRA over, and dealing with Morgan Stanley was, it wasn't too easy because they just refused to agree.
But
They
what do you need their agreement?
No, of
I don't
course. I
understand
mean,
that. So they
it
just
I
wanted to express to try to
thus
keep you. Okay, in
yes,
that way.
yes,
Yeah.
and that's basically what they were trying to do. He just kept telling me that I was going to make a big mistake, that I didn't know what I was talking about, but I asked him a simple question. What gives the dollar, what makes the dollar the world's reserve currency? And he really couldn't answer that question. His response was the military. The military makes it the world's reserve currency. And I'm like,
No, no,
no,
no.
that's the wrong answer. So, we moved it, and it's been, I sleep
It's
better at
because
night.
it's wealth now. It is wealth
Yes,
now. And even
yes.
me just in the last 5 years converted it to wealth because it's gone up so much, and so that's
Mm-hmm.
why we talk about this.
Yeah,
We only talk about things that we know to be true. We
yeah.
don't speculate. Like in other freedom groups, people will ask you, well, can you show me any court case? No, I can't show you court cases. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to court. My traffic tickets have all been resolved through the clerk. I don't go to court. That would give them jurisdiction.
Right. Well, just like
And
when I bought gold, I paid $1,700 an ounce for it.
nice,
So,
nice. I
you
bought it
know,
in the 27, 28 range.
yeah.
So
So,
look at it today. That's wealth.
yes,
That's wealth. And,
yes.
we talk about the needs for it. Silver's the most in demand mineral. It's extremely in demand in military, and the AI centers and stuff. So
Yes.
it's a hot commodity. So thank you for listening. Tomorrow we're going to have Tax-Free Tuesday. We always try to think of new information to blow you away. So if you just keep showing up and listening, you're going to be deconditioned, because that's the number one thing when I ask people who come in the university, why did you join? I've been watching you for years sometimes. Gina's probably what, 2 years. Me and Gina were on X together, and then we became like X friends where we like comment under each other. And then we moved to DMs, and then she was from Chicago and I'm from Chicago. And I think we then exchanged phone numbers, and then she came to Florida and we had lunch, and now we're super best friends. And she's come in the university, and she exited the IRS maybe 6 months ago. She's just so thrilled to do it. And she will say to me, Jana, you can't believe how many people, because people will see us talk publicly on X. You can't believe how many people DM me and ask, is it true? Is she for real? Well, what did she do? Well, you have to take the class. You have to know your standing. I could give this away for free, but unless you understand it, can speak it the way we do, you can't do it. It's got to be in your heart. It has to be your belief in your
And you
heart.
have to build the courage. You have to have the knowledge, build the courage. And once you understand that you've been screwed
Yep.
since the day you were born, that it's so easy to walk away.
It's literally Wizard of Oz. So you know what I'll do for tomorrow for Tax-Free Tuesday? Just came to my mind. I am going to talk about the scary letters, and I'm going to share some standing with you tomorrow. All right. I will see you tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m.
Yes, sounds good.
Thank you.